Good afternoon, all, and I wish to record my thanks to the NEOC for the invitation to present briefly on the Intellectual Property Office and our response to COVID-19. However, before I get into our office's COVID response, I've been asked by the NEOC to first explain what is intellectual property and what our office does. We often think about things like houses, cars, and phones when we hear the word property. But intellectual property refers to expressed or tangible products of a person's intellect, or put another way, the creations of someone's mind. So, for example, while property law regulates issues such as who owns and can sell a house, intellectual property law is concerned with who owns and can sell the plan of an architect who used his intellect to design and lay out how the house is to be built. This plan is separate and distinct property from the house, and as a tangible or expressed product of the architect's mind or intellect, that plan is intellectual property, protectable by law. Now, other simple examples of intellectual property include music, speeches, manuals, secret recipes, inventions, vaccines, photographs, computer software, and a host of other material that has been created using someone's intellect. Like regular property, if IP gets into the hands of someone who is not authorized to use it, it could deprive the creator of the opportunity to reap from his work. By law, a tenant who moves into a house without the permission of the landlord is no different than a person who sells photocopies of books without permission. During this period of lockdowns and curfews, some of us have found our inner Calypsonian, Mr. Williams, or some other creative outlet, and IP rules exist to help us protect and enable us to benefit and be acknowledged for the work that we create. Now, our office operates under the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs, and our three main functions are registering intellectual property rights where applicable, raising public awareness on the different forms of intellectual property such as copyrights and trademarks or patents and trade secrets, and thirdly, overseeing the legal framework surrounding the use and control of intellectual property. The majority of our office's work, however, concerns registration of trademarks. A trademark is a visual sign that differentiates one good from another, and here we see on this slide 4 popular marks that are registered here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Trademarks could be words, numbers, image art, colors, or a combination or any or all of those. So for example, if I were to place 2 bottles of brown soda here without labels, how could we tell which one is Coke and which one is Pepsi without tasting them? Well, we can tell by the color of the bottle or the can, the label or the name, and those features are examples of trademarks. Now, in just a bit of statistics here, in 2018, the Aon and Ponemon Institute looked at the top 500 companies trading on the American Stock Exchange and found that 87% of the assets was intellectual property, rather than physical assets such as land and cash. Could change, please? The shift in major corporations' focus on creating and growing IP may help to explain why there are currently over 6,000 active trademarks registered or seeking registration in St. Kitts and Nevis, and why 98% of our applicants are owners of these marks are businesses and individuals who are resident overseas in countries such as China, United States, Europe, and Canada. But because trademarks have to be registered in every jurisdiction that protection is desired, applications are made here in St. Kitts and Nevis when countries seek global protection. Now, registering a mark means It gives the owner the right to take action against someone who uses his mark without permission. So, for example, if someone produces counterfeit goods and puts another person's trademark on it, without registration, in such a case, the trademark owner has very little legal basis to stand on. Now, how does all of this fit into COVID-19? Now, with limited operations occurring all over the world due to this pandemic, we have seen a decrease in the number of applications since April 2020. Nonetheless, our office continues to work, and we also continue our appeals to our own residents and citizens to avail themselves of the protection of their brands and their creativity through the intellectual property framework. When we receive an application in office, our trademark files are digitally uploaded into our electronic database, and this has allowed us access to process applications remotely from home since the COVID-19 induced restrictions. Our office has maintained communication with users primarily through email, telephone, our website, and social media. Therefore, because we have been working effectively remotely, it has only been necessary for the office to open twice weekly on Tuesdays and Fridays to allow persons to submit applications, conduct searches into the register of trademarks, make payments, and for the staff to upload the paper applications. Since, unfortunately, we are not able to receive applications online as yet. However, we have been working assiduously long before COVID-19 to make the legislative and administrative changes that would be necessary to achieve our goal of making our office the first fully electronic office under the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. Clearly, COVID-19 has accelerated our efforts, and we look forward to making announcements in relation to online payments, online searches, and online submission of applications in the near future. Since the COVID-19 restrictions, our office has, 1, through the Bar Association and our email database, communicated to our users of our office hours and work mechanisms. 2, we have granted a 6-week extension to time-sensitive applications that would have or will lapse during our period of state of emergency. 3, continued to conduct training sessions for groups through Zoom. Last week, we were able to conduct an introduction to IP training for staff at the Inland Revenue Department, and we attempted to have one with the entrepreneurship class at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, but unfortunately there were connectivity issues, but we will continue trying. Fourthly, all employees have been issued with disinfecting wipes and hand sanitizer, and entry into the office is prohibited for persons who are not wearing masks. And finally, we have instituted a shift system where one team works in the office on one day and another on the second. All persons remain on call, however, and report if necessary outside of the days that are open to the public. Having heard the happy news of recovered cases, we will increase the number of days and in-office work using the shift system from next week, depending on the announcement of the Prime Minister on which days will be partial. Now, COVID-19 has certainly disrupted our norm, but one of the significant things that it is forcing us to do is to adapt to survive. While many of us have lost jobs or income and think of new and innovative ways to ply new or existing trades, I urge each of us to think of the products of your skill and your intellect as valuable property. So, for example, if you find yourself during this period writing music or working on an app or a book that you've always procrastinated on, feel free to contact us for information on how to protect your copyright. If you are making hand sanitizer or some other product or service, Contact us for information on how to protect your trademarks, such as your logo or your slogan, so that if someone else starts using it or makes something too close to it, you will know if you are able to take action to stop them. You do not have to be as big as Starbucks or Amazon to protect your intellectual property. Consider protection like an insurance policy. Even though your property or business may be small, if something happened to it, I'm sure you would be glad if you had protected it. IP is way too vast and way too detailed for me to do it justice within the forum and time constraints today. But we hope that the general public at least walks away with a curiosity and deeper awareness that the way we think of our valuable assets and income generation is changing, and opportunities are ripe for persons of all economic and educational backgrounds if we just adjust our mindset to see our intellect and our skills as a vehicle towards economic diversification, wealth creation, and social reconstruction, especially in the COVID and post-COVID era. Our contact information is listed, and we submit our website as a resource for persons interested in learning more about IP. The information on the website is tailored specifically to St. Kitts and Nevis, so you do not have to wonder if what is on the website is relevant to you here. Our office is still available to the public, and if there is any group, person, or institution in St. Kitts and Nevis who is interested in learning more about intellectual property and how it applies to their work or plans, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can organize virtual training or in-person training once proper social distancing protocols can be observed. We look forward to continuing serving you to, as our office slogan says, fuel innovation and creativity for national prosperity. Thank you very much.